She didn't run because she had something to prove to herself or anyone else. She ran because in a very short time, running had become an integral part of who she was. Beginning in childhood, she had obstacles in her path, mostly financial, cultural, and gender based. But she had always found a way to do what needed to be done, relying on a few crucial supporters and her own tenacity until nobody doubted what she was capable of. 8 months prior to this race, she had undergone surgery for cervical cancer. 4 months ago, she ran Boston. Today, in Scotland, felt like a great time to prove, once again, what she was made of. And so she did. Today is Sunday, August 24th, 2025, and on this day in 1980, Toshi D'Elia became the first woman over 50 to run a marathon in less than 3 hours. In this episode, I will tell you about D'Elia's hardscrabble childhood in Kyoto, the surprising way she became a runner, and what she accomplished as a pioneer, not just in women's running, but in the then new arena of masters running. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and you are listening to Today in Running History. The Kyoto into which Toshiko Kishimoto was born on January 2nd, 1930, was one of great contrasts. Tourism was emerging as an industry, the university was building a reputation as a hub for intellectual discourse, and the city bustled with new construction and expansion. At the same time, much of the population tried to hold on to its traditional culture and fought what it saw as the negative influence of the West. Wealth and influence defined the Kishimoto family, which had launched Japan's steel industry. But its fortunes changed after World War II, and Toshiko would later recall wishing she were a bird and could, quote, fly away from the post-war poverty and constant state of near starvation that came to define her childhood. She spoke about food rationing and her mother bringing home one cucumber to feed their family of 6. At age 21, after earning her undergraduate degree in Tokyo, Toshiko got her opportunity to fly away when she earned a prestigious Fulbright scholarship to study in the U.S. Because she was a woman, however, her father refused to pay her remaining expenses, saying that he'd rather invest in a horse than waste money educating a female. It was then that the first in a long line of Toshiko's most vital supporters stepped in. Her mother paid for her to study at Syracuse, where she earned a master's in audiology. She also married an American and had a daughter. But when the marriage fell apart and Toshiko returned to Japan, her father told her that she had dishonored the family and tried to force her to put baby Erica up for adoption. When she refused, her mother again stepped in to help, giving Toshiko money to return to the U.S. and build a life for her daughter and herself. Toshiko began working at the New York School for the Deaf, a job she would hold for 37 years. She met and married pianist Manfred D'Elia in 1960, and the family of 3 settled in Ridgewood, New Jersey, where they all shared an interest in outdoor recreation. As Erica grew, she developed into a strong runner and was the captain of her high school's track and cross-country teams. Manfred was passionate about hiking and mountain climbing and encouraged his wife to join him in that sport. Toshiko enjoyed mountain climbing, and she and her husband scaled peaks around the world. But on a climb up Mount Rainier, she suffered from altitude sickness, and the guide did not allow her to continue the summit. To build endurance and increase overall fitness, Toshiko's friends urged her to try running, or as it was better known in the mid-70s, jogging. Overachiever that she had always been, Toshiko attacked the road the first day, running a mile as fast as possible and then collapsing and vowing to never run again. I know most of us can relate to that feeling. This time, it was Erica who offered Toshiko the support she needed to stay on course. On short daily runs before school, Erica taught Toshiko about pacing, and gradually her mom was able to do 3 miles and then 5. It was then that Erica encouraged Toshiko to enter a county-wide race where she and her teammates would also be competing. If nothing else, Erica figured it would be a new experience for Toshiko regardless of where she finished. And yes, she thought to herself, Mom will probably finish dead last. But she has survived worse, and it will probably drive her to get better, like most adversity had. Erica won that race. The real surprise, though, came when she turned around after her own finish so she could find her mother and cheer her on. Rather than finding her at the middle or back of the pack, Erica was shocked to see Toshiko finish almost right behind her, beating hundreds of high school and college runners to take third place. From there, she was unstoppable. The 70s was such an interesting time in recreational running. The idea of running for fun was catching on for a lot of reasons. Advances in technology meant that people, especially women, didn't spend quite as much time on household chores. People in general were more concerned with health and fitness, and media coverage really exploded. Title IX leveled the playing field for women, and the idea of personal empowerment and being the best you could be was a new and appealing idea. So imagine being new to running at this time, and a woman, and a person of color, and old. Because being 40 or 50 or, God forbid, 60 during this time was nothing like it is today. By societal standards, Toshiko should have been very limited in what she could do. But Toshiko hadn't listened when she was told she couldn't get an education or be a single mom or climb mountains, and she wasn't about to listen now. She turned 45 at the beginning of 1975 and began racing with the New York Roadrunners. She earned the name Seabiscuit after the famous racehorse who, like Toshiko, was known for never giving up. Though she was recruited to run on an elite team, she still resisted running a full marathon. Ironically, given her nickname, she insisted that 26.2 miles was a distance made for horses to run, not humans. Toshi did agree to run a little more than half of the Jersey Shore Marathon in January 1976, which would be her first race longer than a 10K. But the friend who was supposed to pick her up along the course with a change of clothes didn't show up. So Toshiko ran the full marathon, finishing in 3:25 and qualifying for Boston. Then, in Boston, she was the top finisher in the women's masters category, created the previous year with a time of 3:16.56. 6 months later, she placed third in the New York City Marathon. Over the next few years, Toshiko worked full-time, put in about 100 miles per week, and routinely won the Masters division in pretty much every race she entered. She and her husband founded the North Jersey Masters Track and Field Club so that her neighbors wouldn't have to go into Manhattan to train. Along the way, she earned another nickname, Queen of the Roads. In 1979, Toshiko was diagnosed with cervical cancer, but true to form, she ran Boston in 1980, 4 months after undergoing surgery, and clocked in at 3:09.07. Her New York Roadrunner coach Bob Glover believed she was ready to become the first woman over 50 to finish a marathon in less than 3 hours. She had run sub-3 before, but that was as a spring chicken in her late 40s. At the World Veterans Marathon Championships in Glasgow, Scotland, she achieved that feat, finishing in 2:57.25. She was 50 years, 7 months, and 22 days old. Later that year, she was given Runner's World magazine's Paavo Nurmi Award. She also returned to Japan after a 16-year absence and was treated like a national hero. Toshiko followed an Eastern philosophy and diet, and after every race, thanked her feet. Then, she drank a beer. Rather than cap off a short but illustrious career, that record turned out to be one in a long list of impressive accomplishments over the next decades. Toshiko went on to become the first woman over 65 to run a sub-7 indoor mile and was part of the first class to be inducted into the USATF Masters Hall of Fame in 1996. The month she turned 71 in January 2001, she broke the indoor record for women 70 plus in the 1500 meters with a time of 6:47.46. Within a month, she broke age group records in the 800 meters, 5K, and 10K runs. From 1994 until his death in 2000, Toshiko took care of her husband as he battled Alzheimer's. It was yet another trial that she believed running was instrumental in helping her face, and she spoke often of her gratitude. "I ran to live happily," she was quoted as saying. "It gave me strength. I was able to teach better. I was able to be a better wife and a better mother. Running has always served me as a support and therapy for a happier life." Toshiko had open heart surgery at 78, but was soon back to her routine that began before 7 a.m. A 1-mile swim, followed by a 45-minute run in the water and a yoga class. After lunch, she had a nap, then ran 3 to 5 miles. She was breaking age group records up until being diagnosed with a brain tumor in December 2013 and still completing her daily workouts for another month after that. She died in February 2014 at the age of 84. Her daughter had t-shirts made for the memorial service that said, "Run like Toshi," which is a great advice that I interpret as, don't let yourself be limited by your age, your gender, your background, or the circumstances of your life. And never stop being grateful for what the sport of running has given to you. That is all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, rate 5 stars, turn on alerts, and then send this to a woman over 50 that you would like to see run a sub-3-hour marathon. And then join me tomorrow for a conversation with one of the top American wheelchair marathoners of all time. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and this has been Today in Running History. Do I look like a weird color? Do I look like I'm like a Simpson? No, all of this. I'm yellow. I'm just like yellow constantly. All right, we'll go with that. Is that better or is that worse? Am I jaundiced? What is... I guess that's what happens when I try to record without makeup. Now, I'm going to shut up. Well, no, I'm not going to shut up because I'm trying to record. God dang it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Or anyone else. God, that was a weird pause. I'm off to a really bad start here. I'm yellow. I'm like, there's this weird tent in my room. It's 10:30. It's like past my bedtime. I shouldn't be doing things. Okay. In this episode, I will tell you about Delia's... Is it Delia? How do you say that? Okay, we're going with D'Elia. So I'm going to start over. D'Elia. It's Italian. Okay. Toshiko enjoyed what was that? Okay. Turned around after her own finish so she could... My God, it's just like normal words are not working. Okay. At the World Veterans Marathon Championship in Glasgow. Oh my God. Okay. I was able to teach better. I'm just tripping up over my words. Okay. She died in February 2014 at the age of 24. What the? No, God. It definitely says 84. The whole point is that she's old. Okay. I really do look like the wrong color. Or do my eyes suck? Shut up.